Alright, so we're going to talk about custom post types in WordPress. So if you've used WordPress before, you know that there are two main types of content you can create. You can create a post if you're working on something that exists in a series. So the example here would be like a blog post, something like that. And you have pages, which are just kind of these standalone pieces of content. But as we start working with more complicated content, organizations that do different things, we really want to be able to manage different kinds of content than just posts and pages from within WordPress. And when we say that WordPress is a content management system, WordPress is actually a fairly simple content management system that grew out of blogging software. But we're going to learn how to give it some extended functionality to make it start to behave like what I would consider to be a more fully functioned or more proper CMS or content management system. So we're going to do this using a few plugins, and in this video we're going to be looking at the custom post type UI plugin. So go ahead and install that and activate it. Pause if you need to, and once we've done that, we're going to implement a series of content types that correspond to this relationship diagram here. And if we've covered this, great. If you're in a course where we haven't covered this, you should be able to follow along regardless. So we're going to make a website for a publisher, okay? And so if I'm a publisher, I want to be able to create books, right? I want to create pages for books and display books in a certain way. Books are going to have authors, and I also want to be able to have an author page, and I want to be able to link these two together. And then books are also going to have the option of including reviews, okay? And I've got here the different attributes that I want to be able to attach to each of these content types. So what we're going to do in this video is just create the content types. And if we're looking in WordPress, basically I want to have over here, in addition to posts and pages, books, authors, and reviews as well. So I'm going to go ahead and come here to CPT UI, which is going to let me add new post types. So a new post type is something like a post and a page, but if I look at my diagram, the first thing I want is one of these for a book. So I'm going to go ahead and create one for a book. The slug is just kind of what the system's going to call it. It's a lowercase representation. You can read a little bit more here, but book is what we want here. It wants to know what's a plural and what's a singular label, okay? So I'm going to do that. You don't need to worry about most of this. Is just if you need to change the language for any of this, I'm going to skip it. Most of this we don't need. Again, you might come back and work on this, but I am going to say that it supports custom fields, and we'll get to that in a different video. So I'm going to go ahead and add that post type, and we see now that we have books here in the sidebar, and I'm going to go ahead and pause it and create authors and reviews really quick. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, so no need to watch. Okay, so I finished that up, and I just wanted to make a quick note that when I tried to create my author post type, it told me that there was already a post type called author. Basically, authors already exist in WordPress, so I'm just going to call this book author and add that post type. All right, so now we're pretty good. We've set up our different content types, okay? And in another video, we're going to link them together. But I want to talk a little bit about the fields that go with each one, or the attributes, right? So books are going to have a title, they're going to have a description, and they're going to have a genre. But genre is a special type of attribute, and it's what we were going to call a taxonomy, right? It's a kind of category. So I want to be able to pick from a list of genres. At some point, I want to be able to find all the horror books, all the fantasy novels, things like this. So we're going to treat genre a little bit differently than all of these other things. And I could have written it differently in my diagram here, but this works for now. I just know that genre is a taxonomy. So within this same plugin, I can add a taxonomy, and this works just like our previous one. So genre, and then I'm going to attach it to a post type. So I'm going to say books have genre, but reviews I'm going to say don't have genre. That's a decision you might want to make. Authors, again, they might have a genre, but I'm going to say that for our purposes, books have a genre. All right, so now that that's created, I can see that books has genres, and I could go in here and populate this with my genres. So I could say here's fantasy. Fantasy has this slug, and I'm not going to add a description for now, although that might be incorporated into your interface at some point. So I would go through and fill in my genres. Okay, so really simple. Next video, we're going to look at these relationships and also start to talk more about these attributes.